Hello, everybody. Let's get this thing apart. Am I hearing noises in here? A little bit earlier than normal, trying to be a more respectable business person and working in normal hours. John L. Wait, didn't you say that yesterday, John? Almost certain you said it was your birthday yesterday. Hey, Gabrielle. Okay, immediate. Oh, wow, yeah, okay. So immediately this section's been hit. That looks like maybe speaker section. Down here's been hit. Over here's been hit. So it's sort of like this arm of everything. Looks like all the data's over on this side. Maybe there's one there. Unless that's Thunderbolt, actually. Oh well, get it apart and see what we can do. So yeah, they've been advised that they should just get a new machine. And look, I'll be honest and say, in many cases, depending on the severity of the liquid damage, that actually is the more prudent choice. Because even if you can get these things running, they often have long-term issues thereafter. It's funny, Apple hasn't actually opened up this from what I can tell. Well, there is some fingerprints there, but they hadn't undone that, the battery connector, so that's interesting. Hey Serge, hey Warren. So yes, I'm not against Apple advising people get a new machine, particularly with liquid damage. I think what we're more against is Apple saying there is nothing you can do. By the way, this is a 1706, so this will be 820239 board. I may even have a replacement board for this worst case scenario, which would be good, but the downside is that there's a possibility that the keyboard or trackpad or display or touch bar is messed up. I got an itchy nose at the moment as usual. Certainly the touch bar I can see has already got issues on there. So this may end up falling in favour of Apple's recommendation. Guess we'll just have to see. Hey Christian. Hey Ratmole. Fence is complete. Well, pretty much. The gate's still got to go on, but the gate currently is on the outside of the area that we are containing, so it isn't really relevant. The downside is, of course, now that this section is complete, I'm like, man, I really do need the other sections done too. And so one change begets another. I'm just not rich enough for that. Fortunately, with this particular model, if there is a data issue that's required, we do have the lifeboat connector. Because these do not have the T2 in them, so you can actually still access. Oh, oops. Took the wrong screw out. Put the wrong screw back in. Right. There's 6 skills. And Nelson. Feels like a lot of screws in this one tonight. Yeah, coffee's definitely done a good swimming. Fortunately, it hasn't actually made any contact with the touch bar, so that's good. The speakers are a bit of a disaster. I just need to give it a little bit of warmth to get it to release. I think things have become a bit crusty. Hey, David Darwell and David Divad. Let's see, we've got the arrival of the Davids. Alright, so one speaker released. Come on. Just took the tab off. Okay, what we'll do is we'll just put it itty bitty, a little bit of 80-20 on there. There we go. That just sort of helps soften up the scum that's holding it. That's a mess. That's the microphone. And it's well and truly dead. If the screen, keyboard and trackpad and the battery are okay, then another one down. Then, you know, there's some hope of us reviving this. Oh, not if I keep doing that, though. I need a T8. 6. Ah, there we go. It was right in front of me. No. Oh, no, don't even need a T8. I actually need a T5. Hey, Copez. It doesn't have to be a lot. You know that, Copaz. It just has to be in the wrong spot. It's kind of like getting shot. You don't have to get shot with a 50 cal. You can be shot with a 22 in the right place and you're still going to die. And by 22 I mean a 22 LR as opposed to a 223. Hey, Ed Boss. Okay, exposure time. Ooh, no, this is... Yeah, this is pretty much end of the road. I mean, we'll clean it up, but that doesn't look good. That looks particularly unpleasant. Yuck. I mean, the CD3215s are going to be okay, funnily enough, because they're underfilled. That there bothers me. I think that's not Piccolo, but I'm pretty sure that's the PMIC. Yeah, that's a big disaster there. Oh well, let's clean her up and see what we can find. You never know, it might just be a really bad case of extra snotty, ugly looking corrosion, but nothing actually severely damaged. Wow, whatever that current resistor current sense resistor padding was, it well and truly got chewed out. It'd probably be something like 3v3 S2 or whatever. It seems like it's sat there for a little bit. Oh, Paul, well, finally it gets to your country and everything goes swiftly. I suppose that's something to be happy for. It took forever to get out of this country. So normally I don't do a just wash off like this, but yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have to do anything with the 3215s because they are already protected through the underfill. Kind of curious to see if this thing is just going to fire up anyway. Okay. I need to check what this part was because it looked like it had a little bit too much damage on it. This United Nations part. Hey, Christos. Oh, sorry. No, like so I'm pretty sure it's a 239, but we better quadruple check. Yeah, 923. Alright. It's the dyslexic version, which is the 239. And that's the part of interest. What's that? USB connector B, Thunderbolt power up circuit. Yeah, I think I'll replace that one. Just out of curiosity. It actually came out clean there after I fixed it up. Okay. I checked with the details. The data isn't really what the person... I think they've already got a backup. They're just more thinking, do I have to get another machine? So we'll plug it in and see what happens. $20 volts, 700, it's booting. Anything catching a light? Yeah, pretty sure that's booting. That's a very rare case. Now, of course, we do have the problem with the microphone. But everything else looks pretty clean, so then that leaves us with the screen, and the battery has potential issues. Hey there, Arilla. Welcome. I would put this through an ultrasonic clean. Like I said, generally don't like to ultrasonic clean anymore these days. Unless I have to, you know. Mostly because, particularly when it comes to data jobs, not that this is one, but there's just been too many instances where the ultrasonic clean takes that last little breath of life out of something. And the other thing is, I'm advising people that if this is a liquid damage system, then I'm only repairing for the sake of data recovery. Beyond that, it's up in the air. So it's a bit like where we were with iPhones many years ago. Someone's replaying Bob the Builder. Now, on the other, if the display is bodgy, then it's all going to be over. Oh, we've got to check the speakers at some point. I'm not going to plug them in at this stage. Right. But yeah, that left-hand speaker section is really messed up. So I would certainly be replacing a few caps and things like that. And I have a feeling the touch bar might be up the creek. So this isn't going to be a case of I washed it and it works. I mean, yes, it did get 20 volts, but it's not something I would say, yep, ship it back to the customer. Because there's a significantly increased likelihood of failure. Whereas at least if I clean up some of the bad caps and whatnot, we may reduce that to a acceptable level. Okay. Surprising. I didn't actually check to see if the ports were any good. They're probably mangled, but it's still giving me 20 volts and 1 amp. Whether we boot or not, it's another question. We've got nothing coming up. Oh, there we go. We've got an Apple logo. The lifeboat port cover is off. No, it's not. Showed that Will Cogley had started the stream. What the hell? The slow boot on this indicates we may be having battery issues or something else. We certainly don't seem to be posting a charging current. So, you know, we're under the 1 amp at the moment. Actually, it's funny. YouTube seems to be glitching a fair bit at the moment because I clicked on a stream last night or something, and it told me that I was the owner of the stream. Oh, that's right. It was the Futo Grants, mini Futo Grants stream or video, and it came up and said Paul Daniels is the channel owner of this video, and I'm like, what? And it was just some weird glitch. Yeah, so we've got a charging issue here. Now the question is it the battery or is it the board? Or is it already charged? Unlikely because it's taken so long to boot. Or is it something else entirely? Like a current sense? Oh, sorry. Tired. So 7 to 900 milliamps pop up then. Yeah, we just knocked up a notch. It Look, I have started to see bad batteries slow down even PCs recently. But certainly with Apple, yeah, it's a sort of a fail-safe measure. Pardon me. Okay, we've got finally off the Apple logo, we've now got our pointer. What? There's no user data on it. Did they blitz her computer? Hey there, Miles. Oh, by the way, Miles, that machine from the other night that we thought was a dead T2, it actually wasn't a dead T2. It was those CD3215s were fake. Network configuration could not be configured. Wow, really? Interesting. Yeah, let's see. Let's get our alternate network. Yeah, the texture is just terrible. But anyway, I actually added the what we've found there into the wiki, where it was like 5 volts, 250 milliamps or so. So I just added that. Yeah, I mean, we both, as soon as I pulled them out of the packet, I was like, yeah, these are a little bit dubious. I tried them, but yeah, it was. I just couldn't. I wasn't happy with the thought that it was going to be the T2. I mean, sure, we get enough T2 failures on those boards, but it was just something niggling me about it, particularly the fact that those 3215s look so wrong. So yeah, I took the chance, took them off and redid them, and it came up good. Obviously, everything else that we repaired was required. Someone's tried to clean the screen with, I don't know what they've used, but it didn't clean the screen. It was more of a smearer. Oh, critical software update. Okay, so we have now got a bad touch bar. Wondering if I've got a chassis for this one. Where's the 1706? I do have a chassis, but it's my chassis, and I don't want to. I don't want to use my chassis. Okay, it's a critical software update, which basically means we have to take this out. And that in itself is a bit of fun. At least we know the screen works. See, lifeboat connector is very much intact. So we sort of got off easy with the logic board, but maybe we're not so easy with the... I'll just flip this off. Yeah, it's gotten in there. I wonder what the chances of us taking that shield off, and maybe it's fixable under there. Or whether it legitimately is the touch bar itself that's failed. I kind of want to try take that off. It's a little bit of a difficult positioning when if I'm going to want to hot air that off. Hey there, Q's. I had sleep at some point. What? Connector? I didn't see anything wrong with the connector. Look at that. Connector's spectacularly good. What about this one? This one's also good. I mean, there's some, dregs along the length of it, but it in itself seems okay. Yeah, I want to try get this off and see if I can see any damaged parts under there. But the trouble is, it's in an area that's very difficult to protect against hot air damage. Yeah, I got the job scanner thing. I had to go into my UDev rules and fix them up. I had to change the mode from 666 to 0666, and then just as an extra bonus I made it so that my account was the owner of the device. And with all of that done, it worked. So I guess I'll take that as a win. Okay, I'm going to captain tape, well, I don't know if I've got captain tape, I've got fake captain tape. Believe me, it's fake. So fake. It melts before PVC sometimes. I may have some other captain tape in here which is actually real captain tape. What about you? Okay, I know this is very much likely to be real. It's also approaching 20 years old. Oh, thank you, Anthony McGregor, for your £2.62. Right, let's hope we don't chuck this up. Hasino. Alright. We're already making that plastic jump. There we go. Wow, I already made things ball out. Jeez. That really didn't take much at all. And Nick Basie. It looks like this trip has been degraded, has it? Oh no. Just get some 80-20. Start whittling away at it. To be fair, nothing really looks problematic there. I think we're just going to have to go with the removal of the touch bar and put a new one on. Actually, you know what I should do? I'll go get my other other board just to verify that we in fact do have a bad touch bar. I mean, they obviously still need washing one way or another, but yeah, I'll see if I have got that one. This is one Pedro tried to steal off me many years ago. Well, naturally, all my boards are on the very bottom box. Where else would they be? Oh. Yeah, it's a 923. Yeah, where is Pedro? Well, I've even got the touch button for it. Wow, man, I really went overboard with this one. Did things properly. Back when I cared about things. Obviously, if the customer goes ahead with just the fix that we're doing, I would advise them, it's like there may be issues down the line. So I think the first thing what I will start with when talking to the customer is say, look, in this particular case, Apple is well within a reasonable a reasonable statement by saying that you probably are better off getting a new machine. But if you wish to push your luck, then we can have a go. Now, if I was Pedro, what I'd be doing is saying, yeah, it's dead, it's worthless, throw it in the bin. And then charge them $66 or $100 for the diagnosis fee. And then if they say, do I get my computer back? He's like, no, all these computers go into the bin. And then charge them more if they want it back. I don't even know what account this one's set up for. Yeah, we've got nothing. Oh yeah, there we go. Why is the USB-C meter stop talking? If the person just wants it as a casual machine to have around, then I think we can live with that. If it's something that they depend on, then I would say no. Yeah, I don't know why my USB-C meter all of a sudden has stopped playing the game. Weird. Very weird. No, there we go, we're back. Still not reporting correctly though. Weird. I think it might be a case of the battery being, I don't know, something's weird there because it's, even on here, it's showing basically no current. So it's got 20 volts, but no current. Okay, touch bar actually works. So it could be a case of the machine itself will now have to, yeah, that's going to be fun. I think I might get in trouble if I do that, Arnold. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's not putting current into the machine. I'll just flip it to another port, just in case. Oh, there we go. That's really the wrong kind of current. Oh, there we go, 20 volts. I think that port must be dodgy. Which makes sense because of the fact that, it did have coffee damage all around that area. And I think we just got lucky before with it working. And you can tell the battery is charging too. But now we've got nothing on the screen. Oh, here we go. No, I did not forget my password. Okay. Alright, the battery is listed at 0%. Let's give it a little bit of time. This still has the person's details on it. I'm going to have to format this at some point. Okay, we've got 1% coming up. So it looks like we're going to have to look at... Well, it's interesting. Okay, it's not showing anything on the touch bar now. Let's plug this in. Being at 1706, I should be able to do this. Hey Christian, sort of fixed. We basically found that the board isn't in that bad a condition. It does boot, but damage has been done to the BIOS or flash setup that handles the touch bar. Yeah, Miles, that's why I'm booting off this, because I figure at least if I've got that, then the touch bar might show up. The only thing I really hate about the touch bar in this scenario is the fact that I don't have the escape key, and I don't know what okay, the touch bar is working perfectly fine. Particularly as a programmer with Vim, if you don't have a mechanical escape key, it feels like hell. Okay, so it's all good. That's where our specs are. Cancel. We don't want to sniff that person's data. Cancel. It's always nice when you can explicitly declare that you have nothing to do with destroying data because you never had the passwords in the first place. So this is a 3.1 i5, 8 gig. Fair enough. Let's see if the temperatures are all good. The battery is coming up. We're up to 3% now. Well, I do see on the newer machines that they have a mechanical escape button finally. I think they realise that they've ticked off a few too many people. Rilla, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of wondering that myself. I do need to make more money. But I suppose for me, the Flexboard View software is where I do tend to make up for the lack of making profits on this side of things. That and iPhone screen replacements. Doing iPhone screen replacements is a decent money maker for me. Yeah, I'm not like hauling in the cash, but I am making enough to ensure that it helps keep the lights on. And of course now I'm going to be having the ring lights and the USB-C meters for sale soon. Just still waiting for everything to turn up. I've got to finish my reflow oven, all that sort of stuff. It's surprising how long it can take to ramp up to these things. Now, B-Blood. You said you wouldn't tell anybody. You said that I was your private dancer. I can't believe you disclosed sensitive information. What is your view on Apple? It depends whether you're talking Apple as a business or Apple as a manufacturer of products. Would you love if Apple dies? Nope, most certainly not. I actually quite like Apple hardware. I don't really have. I mean, I get very irritated by the way they lock things down quite as much as they do, the way that they serialize everything. It irritates the hell out of me. I don't really care much for their business practices, but to be fair, they are basically the they are what you can expect from a capitalistic system. You know, if that's they are what we create with the style of business we do these days. But I do like their equipment overall. I mean, I use an iPhone. I used to use Samsung phones, but I switched to an iPhone. I used to use PC laptops of all brands, be it Dell, HP, Toshiba. Yeah, probably didn't touch me. I had a Sony at one point. That was a disaster. But then I switched to MacBooks, and I've got to admit I'm happier for it. And likewise, macOS. Yeah, being able to have your own walled garden helps Apple make a lot of headway where other companies cannot, because they control everything from, one end to the other. So they can make everything, and God help me for using this word, they can make everything like synergistically fit. Whereas everybody else, when you're dealing with the PC market and things like that, it's just a constant fight with compatibilities, and it's just a mess. I'm just waiting for the battery to pick up a little bit more. Sorry. So yeah, for as much as I don't care for the way that Apple runs business, I feel that from an engineering perspective, overall, I tend to prefer their equipment compared to PC stuff. I like, and also in their operating system. To be fair, the operating system when it comes to Android really is an Android issue. Just small things that they don't bother dealing with or resolving properly that make it annoying. Stuff that people just brush off as trivial. And in the big scheme of things, it is trivial, yet strangely enough, it's incredibly important. Like just being able, the speed or the time it takes for you to turn on your phone and start dialing in a number that you want to dial. Now on an iPhone, that's pretty quick and instant, and when you press the buttons, the response is very much instant. But with a lot of Android phones, you turn them on and you gotta wait a bit, and then you bring up the dialer app and you wait a bit, and then you start punching the numbers, and the response, the haptic response or the visual response that you get for pressing the numbers lags too much. And yeah, maybe Apple does it in 10 milliseconds, whereas Android does it in 20 milliseconds. But that lag, it leaves the impression of like, I'm struggling with this device. It's like trying to run through the ocean water. Yeah, it's difficult, it's annoying, and eventually it pisses you off enough that you go, you know what, I'm done with this, and I'm going to go over to Apple. And like, to give you an example, I received a new FPOS system, and the FPOS system, a banking card system, and the terminal is running Android. And it is terrible. And I think part of the problem is the fact that with Android, it allows people to create devices using the cheapest hardware possible, and it still technically functions, but it's a horrible user experience because it's just so inadequate for the task. But because it technically does the job, they ship it and they save themselves $5, but at the same time, they just ruin the experience for you. But yeah, it's small things like that. And I know people like to go on about, but the Androids will give you, say, greater bang for buck in terms of cycles per dollar, per second, whatever. That's great. And look, I'm as much a nerd as most people when it comes to that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I'm also at the point where it's like, I just want to use this as a device. I don't care about the technicalities so much anymore because I'm busy doing other things that I'm caring about the technicalities. I just want this thing to work and not piss me off. And I think that's what happened. Like, I went through a series of Samsung phones and they were great to start with. I loved them. And then I was particularly getting the Note series, the bigger series. But then each one, after several months or a year, would just become worse and worse. And it was like, I'm done with this. And then because I was fixing iPhones at the same time, I started to notice the disparity in the user experience. And so, yeah, one day I was given the opportunity to acquire, I think it was an iPhone 6S Plus for $50, which was dirt cheap at that time. I took it, and yeah, I won't switch back now. What is the name of the clone when Apple first came out? There was a few of them, I think. Oh, I mean, the businesses listening in, snooping on your data and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's a very real thing. And you're right. You do mention things and you see the adverts come up. So they are definitely sniffing what you're saying. Okay, the battery's up to 14. I'll just check actually the touch on this. I just realized I didn't. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so what we have in this case is the logic board has had its firmware, as it were, for the touch bar mangled, or at least I think it has. Either that or we just fixed up the touch bar by taking that shield off and messing around with it. Unlikely, but you never know. There are things that I generally don't like about a lot of the MacBooks, like, for instance, how long they kept us on 720p face cams. That was horrible. I mean, it's just disgusting how awfully low quality the cameras are in these screens. Given that Apple goes and puts an SSD in these things and pushes the envelope on everything else, and then they go give you a 720 bloody webcam, so what kind of a joke is that? And then, of course, the butterfly keyboard was just a disaster. There was no denying that. The building in of RAM, like fixing the RAM into the boards, I can, from a technical perspective, appreciate that. Because if you look at the number of failures that we were getting with the old DIMM slots, SODIMM slots rather, then you can sort of see, what, for laptops, maybe it is better if we do solder the RAM in, but it would have been perhaps a better compromise if they gave us the option to also drop in another stick. But yeah, so that one I can sort of get away with. The SSDs, I think they've overextended their control, as it were, with that. I do believe they should have been able to continue to offer NVMEs, but they're going to justify it away by saying, well, we wanted to have the full security enclave, and that means therefore everything has to be custom how we do it in order to be able to guarantee that level of security. And it's sort of like, you guys are sort of playing security theater there to get what you want. The other thing I really don't like is the complete dead end situation you face if you are locked out with your iCloud account and things like that, or with a device. Yeah, the wastage that occurs because of that. Now I know it's pitched because it helps inhibit theft. Geez, slow down, mate. Bloody idiots frickin' on this road. They pitch it under the idea of it helps reduce the theft of devices, but it's It sort of does in one way, but at the same time, apples are so popular that they still get stolen anyway, just to get stripped down as parts. And then I suppose that's why I said, oh, you know what? I shouldn't say that, because Apple's going to go, yeah, that's why we serialize the parts now. So therefore, if someone does steal the phone, they can't even strip the parts out for it. And you're like, damn it. Yeah. But it's a case of the cure being worse than the ailment, I think. And yeah, I'd say they overextended when it came to the NVMEs and the iCloud lockout. I think you should be able to still have a way of unlocking the device at some point. Now, people keep stealing iPhones. Maybe not quite as prolifically, but they certainly still keep stealing them. When you just look at the number of them that turn up with like, I'm sorry, this is iCloud locked. I guess they're hoping that not everybody iCloud locks their phone. So yeah, I mean, I like Apple hardware, some of Apple hardware. I like it more than I like some of PC hardware. But I think they're jerks in general. Do the eVlog Pro forum just go to, oh, I haven't checked that recently. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Miles, isn't it? You know, they just steal it because it's a spontaneous thing. They go, oh, take your phone, you know. It still happens. The only thing this really does help with Apple, in my opinion, is making people sign up to the iCloud. I mean, I know I have, and it has saved me. There is the convenience of knowing, okay, my phone is backing up, or my iPad, Mac is backing up on the iCloud, and if it dies, I can just download a copy of the last backup. And like I said, that has already saved me once. And it's not that expensive, at least not up to 200 gigs. Beyond that, I suppose it probably does get a bit pricey. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, from a repair perspective, Apple is quite nice to have because people have paid a lot of money for it, so they're more willing to pay more money for a repair than they would with a PC. Most of the PC laptops that I get in here end up in the bin, metaphorically or literally, because people just don't see the worth in it. And in the same way to the performance of a lot of those machines just seems to go off the cliff as well. Although really, it's Windows to blame for that. Yeah, Miles, either Time Machine or I think Apple should, for at least the warranty period, have a sufficiently large iCloud space. And then at the end of the warranty, it's up to you if you want to continue on. The trouble is, we're humans doing backups. Most humans will not do backups manually. If it isn't automated, it's basically not going to happen. It's as simple as that. And nothing's changed in the last 30 years. Okay, we're once again, it's going to do the critical update. I don't know if it will work. I've got nothing showing up on here. Hey there, DevPom. Yeah, all operating, well, not, yeah, be it Linux, Windows, Mac OS, they all have their pros and cons. It's like with any tool. You know, you get to know the tool, you understand its strengths and weaknesses, you use it accordingly. Sometimes your experience with the tool means that you can use it better in spite of the fact that it may actually have a weakness in that area, but combined with your improved experience with that tool, you can have an outcome that's superior to the other tool that may have greater strength in that area. Yeah, Ben, that's the other, yeah. I'm sure many of us can tell horrible stories about how various tape backups that were supposed to be running were in fact just dumping nothing. That's always fun. That's why you should have a report back, but then you've got to read the report back. Okay, we're going to have to look at the logic board. Something's wrong, and I think I know what it is. That chip that I was looking at, that had a lot of junk around it, I suspect that's what's bodgy. Not sure if this one is the Berkelium or not. But yeah, it's probably something to do with whatever the Berkelium equivalent is on this machine. It actually might be a Berkelium. Hopefully I've got a couple of spares. They're not the most common chip I have around, but I do recently, have picked up a few more logic boards of this sort of style, so we may have a spare Berkelium on hand. But I suspect that's what's causing the problem. Because if Berkelium's not up and running, then the touch bar is not going to go running anywhere. So this chip here, I'm thinking it is. This one here, U4200, are you Berkelium? Yes you are, you're Berkelium. Alright, so that will be our problem. Because if you remember, we were looking at it and it was... Oh, actually, I wonder if it's just a case of... We've lost that rail there. Let's see, what is that? 3v3 S4 PMU and 3v3 S4. So basically we have 3v3 S4s here on this side, and then this one goes to the Berkelium. So we need to see if there's continuity between those two halves. And if there isn't, then that may be our issue. But first we've got to find some copper. Copper that's actually part of the original circuit, not this copper up here, which is... It's a little copper island. But at least we did have that other board, and that allowed us to determine that the trackpad, the touch bar is in fact operational. Okay, so now we're going to test the continuity between that scratched off area that we just touched and the little veer that you can see in the other side of what was the current sense resistor. And we do not. It's an open circuit. That needs to be a closed circuit. There's also a test pad over here. We're going to check that one as well. So we're going to check. Yeah. We are going to check the continuity between that and that test pad as well. David Copperfield. I've actually seen David Copperfield. Okay, we don't have oh, what have we got there? 1.4. Okay, that 1K, whatever, That's probably some sort of bleed through somewhere. Interesting though that it didn't show up in there. I think it might be a wise idea for us to lift that, and you're definitely going to need to be fixed up. Where's my pink pen? Just need to mark this so that I know to deal with that later. Hey creature. Yeah, I'm going to lift up the Berkeley and see what sort of damage we've got there. Because the previous one, we had that one pad that was taken out and that cost us a fair bit of time. Just wasted because we assumed it wasn't a problem. Yo, hair. And push come to shove, we'll just have to re-ball it. But it's better for us to check first. There was some junk under there. Hello, Mr. Marrow. Just gotta do the wicking. Get ourselves some reasonably flat pads. They're not going to be perfect, but they'll be reasonably okay. Hey sweetie, is there a problem? Ah, just mow. I'll just finish Milo being difficult. There was a little rat today. We let him wander out in the new area that's been fenced off, or the re-fenced I should rather say, and he promptly found the escape route. I mean, the area it's not yet finished, but I thought, oh well, you know, I'll partially block off this one area, and he found it, scooted up and over, so then we had to go in panic mode and chase him down. He's all like, you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread kitty. Actually, that's got a bit too much damage on it. Yeah, I think I'll find another one. The upgrade on the fencing was just simply changing it from a mesh fence to a colour bond fence. At substantial expense, no less. I think we've basically we've done 150 meters so far, and that's 20,000 bucks. So yeah, it hurts. Damn you, Berkelium's missing on that one. Mr. Daniels has been stripping, and that one too. Oh, jeez. Come on, give me a Berkelium. Don't make me have to buy more boards. I got a Berkelium here, but it looks like it's been reworked, which means it's probably one from the boards that I've been looking at, and I'm saying that it's missing. But it looks like it might be my only one left. Just keep checking here. Yep, you're gone too. Crikey. Ah, man. Yep, we've got one left basically. As you can see, yeah, that's been reworked. It's not the option we want, but it is the option we have. It's funny how you can go for a very long time without needing something, and then all of a sudden everyone needs the same chip. Damn it. Just trying to find my chip holder. Ah. Creatures should know better than to make any assumptions about the quality of anything of these parts until, well, yeah, just never do it. There is nowhere in here that is probably suitable for me to hold this chip. For flip's sake. This is taking way too long. What the hell is wrong with me? That is a very dirty chip. I mean, really, really dirty. It's definitely toothbrush time. I can't use the electric one though. The electric one will just throw this everywhere. Yeah, that's looking better. Alright, next step, cleaning up the stencil that Paul didn't clean up. I'm gonna blame the camera creature. Nothing substantially jumped out at me. I mean, there are a few little oddities, but nothing, as I said, nothing substantial. That's why I normally keep these in a vat of alcohol all the time. But this one I did not. Yeah, normally after I've used them, I wipe them down and then throw them back into the vat of alcohol. For some reason I did not do that. Too much crud on those pads. That'll work. Now we've got to make some paste. Crap. Hello Defcom, how are you finding version 5 of Flex? I've already got some more minor updates. I keep pushing up minor updates just as I sort of get through each new bug that I find each day, or each sort of like user interface quirk that I don't like that I wanted fixed. Geez, how many times is this thing gonna buckle? Funnily enough, normally I don't have trouble with these ones buckling, but for whatever reason, this particular individual stencil piece, this actual one, just seems to make them buckle. Whereas a lot of the others that I use, I don't have that problem. Yeah, that thing's just jumping around like a bull that's been kicked in the groin. And I was only doing 230 and 10%. So you can't exactly blame Lost one. Alright, we'll be able to get that one back. Or did we lose two? Yeah, we've got two that we've got. And a three. My god. It's probably the worst reballing I've done in a long time. Like a day. Well, Miles, I mean, yeah, they keep the buckling under control, but obviously they're still buckling. Like I said, normally I don't have this sort of much grief with this particular stencil, and I do believe these are in fact that brand that you mentioned. Oh no, wait, these are Kion Lee or whatever they are. Chi Lee. I'm saving my balls. Because I figure I'm gonna need a couple more. That one there worries me because it's like a midget, which means I'm not gonna be able to find a proper replacement. I'm gonna have to absorb it and redo it. Come on. Good job. Now my semi-sucked one is over here, I think. There. Now, you know what? All of these balls suck. No. There's too much variance. I can't do that. I can't use that. I have to do it again. Like I said, the weird thing about this is that other parts of this very same stencil I've used many times without buckling, but for whatever reason, the positioning or whatever, this set of holes likes to buckle. And unfortunately, I don't believe I have anything else with the same pitch. Well, I might have something with the same pitch, but not enough. I think there's another one, but it's missing one row. So you almost get what you want, but not quite. Yeah, if only you could get pre-made at this size. Wow, that's not clean at all. every time I do Berkelium, it seems like I spend more time doing this than the actual Berkelium job. It's like I am aware that there's one stuck over there, but fortunately we don't need that much of the stencil. Self-adhesive zebra strips. I've actually got some of those. Oh, the ones I've got, they are in the Z-axis. It's a 3M tape. Yeah, it's not zebra strips. There's a 3M tape, and basically it allows you. It's conductive, but localized conductivity. So down to a certain pitch, you're guaranteed that there's not going to be any continuity beyond a certain radius. When you look at it under the microscope, it's just simply a splattering of conductive blobs suspended in some sort of adhesive, and that's it. So it's very simple, so to speak, but it does the job, I suppose. It's the sort of thing you probably want to clamp, though, rather than just relying on the adhesive nature of the material of the tape, because it doesn't really hold things very well. At least that's what I found. Hey, Mr. Tritz, Tanme. It's trying a higher temperature further away, a little more air. So the amount of thermal energy getting into the chip should be about the same, but I'm kind of hoping that the extra thermal energy and hot air will get the stencil to stop buckling as badly. In other news, my finger's burning. That feels more successful. Hey there, Tony Nash. It's been a little while. Yeah, naturally the bastard's jammed in there, good and proper, as always. Hey, sweetie. Mo? Oh, Mo. Why are you being difficult? Daddy's trying to make a change for you. Yeah, I'm trying to make a change for you so that I can be out later. So I work earlier and then come out later and play. Huh? What? It's a whiny little thing, isn't it?
Yes, it's sitting at your door. Just
Yeah, waiting. Hmm? Yeah. You gonna give me my hand back? Hmm? Be dang. Hmm?
I was letting him just have a.
Oh, yeah. Getting all squirmy, yeah. Milo wanting attention. He doesn't like it when I'm locked in a room. Okay, I can see we've got one missing there. I just noticed that. Two, actually. Crikey. Right, what did I say about this being a better run? Ah. Ouch. Okay, where'd they go? Hey, Josh Jones. Okay, I kind of want this one here because I suspect it's that one there. Naturally, of course, I've got nothing that's sufficiently fine. I guess I'm just going to have to find something similar-ish. That's too big. It's probably about right. Just drop that air right back. Oh, why do you do that? It's like you tell it, merge with your pad, and it goes, yes, master, and merges with the one next to it. Yeah, that one's good. It's not fully down yet, but it is. If you're wondering why the focus shifted, that's because the stencil's pushing it up. I just need to get this off the stencil. It hasn't fully dropped yet, so it may expand. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll just have to add a teeny smidge of something onto it. junk or something on top. Oh geez, yeah, watching Coda, and I noticed that Buddha also does the manual hand job. Yeah, okay, that just came out wrong. Just walk away. See, now the trouble is trying to get that flip to puff up is going to be fun without overkilling it. So we've got to find something really, really tiny like this. Bastards keep falling down onto the ground. You think that stuff's tiny until you bring it back to the chip and then you go, whoa, that's too much. I think that one actually might be about right. Once that maybe not. Yeah, too much. As I was saying, you think it's too small until you bring it back. And that is definitely too small. Nah. And you also don't want to introduce too much flux. Yeah, I think we just found our companion. I probably could have just repasted it by now. We're worried it's going to snap into the one next to it. There's some interconnecting going on there. There we go. And here's hoping the chip itself survived. And we still have to make that bridge over for the power rail. So definitely not out of the woods yet. And I have verified that pin 1 is down the bottom left here. Yeah, creature. It's a PMIC of sorts. We just know it as a Berkelium chip. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's not good. That there is supposed to be connected to that. Unless I'm mistaken. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. Yep, that's definitely meant to be talking to that. Oh, I see. Interesting. That there is connected, but that is not. Creature, I'm not rightly sure. Could be a case that there's just multiple vias here, and I have to bridge them all together. Oh, that's interesting. That just vanished. Oh, well, there you go. That really looked like a via stalk to me, and it's gone. That is weird. Creature, let's see, it's one schematic. 5, 10, 12 by, what is that, 12 by 16? 4, 17. Looks like 12 by 17. Special high-grade fuse. Okay, there's a... just want to do a sort of a verification check here. We got that rail over here as well, and I want to make sure that it's indeed... Okay, that's good. Yep. Oh, that's right, and we've got this little 2x4 chip that needs to be replaced. Yeah, I don't know if it actually needs replacing, but there was enough junk in front of it that I feel like it would be doing it a good service to replace it. Usually creature with Apple parts, what they do is they do take a moderately standard part and then they get the company to slightly modify it. Whether it's a pin swap or something, just something so that you can't do a drop-in of a standard part. I mean, the CD 3215s and 17s, they're exactly that. Especially the 3215s. They're just a standard USB-C PD controller. And Apple's had them Texas Instruments tweak them. I mean, I suppose they can do that because they're like, you know what, Texas Instruments, if you want to be part of our group, we'll order 100 million of these. If you can just make them a little different from your other design, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Oh, why? Of course, the real fun's going to be when Apple basically just creates their own fab, and then they don't have to rely on anybody for anything. I mean, that is the way of the Apple. So say us. Apple already has their own fab, do they? I thought they were using TSMC or whatever it is for their M2s. I didn't think they had their own. Well, there you go. Just letting that cool off. Yeah, I saw they did the Proton emulation system, or similar to it anyway, so that developers can run Windows games. And I see it's also, I think it was based on Wine. I wonder if the guys who did Wine are sitting there going, no, what have we done? It's always the fun thing with open source. People are all very supportive of open source until a commercial entity comes along and also uses the open source to further what people consider to be not their preferred focus. And then it's all, everybody's like, that's not what we meant. Which is sort of why GPL3 came out, as far as I understand, so they could do that sort of stuff, restrict certain companies. So where's Apple's fab, and what lithography step are they using? We've still got the microphone issue on this one. Anyway, let's see if we can get past the damned security update. issue. I mean, given how much cash that Apple is sitting on, I'm surprised they don't just go full vertical. I guess they're just sort of taking it incrementally. An old fab, so they'd be like 40, 100 nanometers. Damn it, that 4... Oh, there it is, thank God. I lost that 8-pin part. Okay. What new CPU is that, Paul? Damn it. I do want to try the new Intel Arc cards. It's kind of more up my alley than the Nvidia or the AMD ones. I still have to stop myself a lot because I want to say ATI, but I realise ATI doesn't exist anymore and hasn't for a long time. That's the wrong port, Paul, wrong port. Try the other side. There we go. Oh, you're 13.7 KF. Oh, you got a KF. Have you unlocked it? I get the ones without the GPU built in, although I would prefer to have them with the GPU still, but most of the time I can't even get them. That ran a lot faster. Hey, there we go. We have our trackpad, so it was the Berkelium after all. And the fact that we lost the resistor bridge across it, which wasn't actually a resistor bridge, it was just simply two exposed pads. In these designs, when they decide, you know what, we don't need current sensing on this particular section, then they just simply fill in between the two resistor pads that would have been the sense resistor. So that's working. I can see the person's account there. It's logged in, so that's fantastic. Huzzah! Shut down. Of course, the microphone's still an issue, but that's more something in the chassis. I'll ask them if they're worried about that. This machine here is a 12600, I think. I'm gonna have to cap my proc. Oh, 12500. i5 12500. It's having a bit of trouble shutting itself down. It's just holding on that. But it certainly booted a lot faster. But yeah, you can see it's holding that cursor there for some reason. Yeah, 12500. And it's got the NVIDIA T400 graphics card. So Paul, have you unpacked your package yet? Wow, what is this thing doing? Hopefully not erasing their data. Yeah, it's just sitting there. I'm not willing to stop it, whatever it's doing. It might just be... I really don't know what it would be doing on the shutdown phase, though. Miles, yeah, I'm running that card right now. It still has hiccups now and then with the microscope. It just doesn't like the output of the microscope. I think because the microscope's output is kind of Chinesium standard, and so it works with moderately standard devices, but anything that starts digging a little deeper is going to disapprove of what it finds in the protocol. Okay, no, I was just kind of curious whether you had opened them, make sure they're all intact, but I'm glad that you've got them and that's been unpacked. I don't know why it's holding on to that. The fan spins keep changing. I mean, I've got the Black Magic card that I can always put back in, and the Black Magic card works perfectly fine. It just, there's a subtle improvement in the crispness that the Kona card provides. It's not a massive amount, but yeah, I mean, you pay $1,500 for a card, you kind of want to keep using it. Yeah, I don't think I'll be upgrading to a 4090. Maybe the 4090 Ti. No, just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, what is this thing doing? It's like, oh, I'm doing an update. It's been years since I've got a chance to talk to the computer world. Could have, like I said, usually, well, it booted at full speed, so I'll be disinclined to think it's the touch bar anymore. I can always choke it to death to get it to shut down. Everything else is shut down except that. Interesting. It's the touch bar came straight back up. It is responding. Hey, 10 minute. I'm just restarting it again. I mean, the boot's fine. It comes up with appropriate speed and everything seems good. So let's put it through a restart. The restart seems to be fine. It's come back up to the Apple logo. It might be doing something with the file system, running it through like the equivalent of a check disk. No, Caplux is off. I know that the other one that we did that had the bad CD3215s, I noticed that when it came back, it went through 3 or 4 reboots before it was happy to settle down. As a worst case scenario, this does have a lifeboat connector on it, so I can always get the data off. But yeah, it's holding steady at that point there now. So it kind of feels like it's doing some sort of disk cleanup. So charge rate's fine. Unless something else on the board has all of a sudden decided to go faulty, which is entirely possible. Yeah, here we go. It's now getting to the end of it. Almost there. Almost there. Shit. I think I think the Berkelium area just crapped out again. It's not doing a format. Doesn't take that long to do formats. Now this has come back to the security update, and I've noticed that the touch bar's not in play again. Oh no, here we go. 2 minutes remaining. So it was doing the same thing. It came up and gave me the same screen as when it had the touch bar issue, but now it's doing a different thing. And it looks like it's downloading something from the internet. Thank goodness I have 100 megabit. Though gigabit would be nicer. But I can see it pulsing the data through the Ethernet cable. I can hear the fans kicking in. Oh, the Osbe? Or is that Osbe? I don't know. I can't pronounce those more sophisticated. Well, if it's being wiped, it's because the customer wanted it wiped, so I'm only complying with their request. Yeah, bloody Malcolm. Malcolm and, well, you know, it was Conway, Malcolm, and of course Abbott. 3 stooges. If Labour hadn't have gone along and started pushing that stupid firewall business, they probably would have been able to get a lot further along. Okay, that's booted fine again now. See? Told you it wasn't formatting. I can't show you the person's name, but... See? Perfectly fine. You people are a paranoid bunch. Yeah, if Labour hadn't been such dicks going with that whole, really that is a move I would have more expected from the Liberal LNP. you know, it would have been like pro-family, pro-church, that sort of pitch. So I don't know why the hell Labour decided to go with that. It was just like, what is wrong with you? And it pretty much, it killed the NBN. It was enough to, along with, of course, Abbott and Turnbull. I mean, Turnbull himself knows that. He knew that fibre was the better option. So here we are now. More expensive, slower, and it took longer to install than the original proposal. Yeah, that's booting perfectly good now. No troubles with that at all. So it was obviously doing some kind of emergency update that it wanted. So I'm happy with that now. The only thing I've got to worry about is that microphone, and I better check the speakers. But I'm going to do that later. It's 10 o'clock almost, so I'm going to now go and spend some time with the fur kids, since they were complaining about me not being there. Maybe I'll have a normal life for tonight. I'll see you all next time. Catch you later.